Hey, DCL Dorks, it's Erika and Brian. We're here to talk about all things Disney cruising. And today our topic is one of Brian's favorites.
Rotational dining.
Rotational dining. So what rotational dining is something that Disney does different than a lot of cruise lines. And we covered kind of an overview of the things they do different and what we in our mind are better. We're going to dive deeper into what rotational dining is, how it works, and how you guys are going to absolutely love it.
Yeah, and just some of kind of the things we've found over the years that we really like about rotational dining. It's kind of different than other cruise lines, and what we want to hope others can take advantage of.
Absolutely. So rotational dining in its simplicity is you are assigned a table at a restaurant and you will take, so like say your table number 73. And on the first night, you are assigned a restaurant and you will go to table 73. They'll tell you when you get there and you'll meet your wait staff. And then the next night, you'll go to a different restaurant, table 73, and that wait staff comes with you.
Yeah, so it's always the same table number. It's a different place in that restaurant, the three restaurants, but at least you remember 73 is your table number. It's the same table number for the entire length of your cruise.
And it's the same staff. So you get to really get to know them. So that's what I think is really, really different. You get to experience all of the different rooms that they have, all the different themings of the cruise ship, and it's all family friendly. You can have early seating or you can have late seating, depending on which is preferred for your family's situation. And one of the great things that we've used for if we've had second seating and have had the kids is we use the dine and play, which is basically you let them know, hey, the kids are going to get going. And not only do they serve the kids immediately anyway, the kids always get their kids' meals right on time, right as soon as they can.
Well, yeah, right when they sit down, they're basically taking the kids, order immediately while the adults are maybe going through their menu to determine what they're having. They go directly to the kids, get their orders in, get them, back to the kitchen, so they're coming out, usually within probably 15 minutes.
Yeah,
sitting down.
It's really quick. And then at the certain time, I think it's 9 o'clock. The kids club will come and get the kids and collect the kids, and then we adults can all sit around and enjoy the rest of our meal. You don't have to send your kids out, but the kids club will come and make sure that they're taken care of and get them on their way so that you can enjoy a relaxing meal. And because most likely the kids are going to want to head back to those kids clubs anyway.
Well, and normally a standard meal is at least an hour and a half.
Yeah,
because there's at least 5 courses, and if you get one of every course, it could take an hour and a half. Most kids aren't going to want to sit there for an hour and a half long meal. So they're able to get in, have their meal, and get collected up and go off the kids club, and you can, have your adult time.
So you're the foodie out of the two of us.
Right.
So why don't you go through what the aspects of the menu are?
Yeah, well, so it's a standard 5-course type of menu. You probably get on a lot of the cruise ships. You start with your appetizers, and then there's usually probably 4 to 5 appetizers every night. It's constantly changing. Usually every night there's a theme that goes along with that night's dinner. Like on the nights that they have pirate night, it's going to be all themed kind of pirate night type of
like coconut,
right?
Appetizers,
a lot of Caribbean type dishes when it's that type of night. And they have other nights where it's like the Frozen night or the Rapunzel night, and it's themed based on that. Like we had the one drink was the smolder, yeah, so kind of a Rapunzel type thing. But there's usually a theme, to each night's, menu. But then, yeah, you usually have 5 appetizers. What I usually do is I usually order 2 of the different appetizers, because usually they're all so good. You can't decide between one or the other, and they're very small plates. Like if you get the little persets, they're basically like, little tortellinis that are, filled with cheese and maybe have like a little bit of truffle oil on them or something. Yeah. So, and then you only get served maybe 3 of those. So yeah, you have that, and have the shrimp too or something. So I usually, you get 2 appetizers, then you've got your standard soups and salads. And every night there's at least 2 soups to choose from, and they're constantly rotating. And I think they're kind of the unsung menu item on the ship. I think a lot of folks, when you get to soup, you're kind of like, it's soup, soup's soup, and maybe you'll pass it up and not even order. But I recommend that you try one of the soups. If you don't like it, that's fine. But I don't know that I've ever gotten a soup that I thought, oh, I wish I wouldn't have ordered that. They're always a lot of times you're getting like, wow, that's fantastic, like their tomato bisque or a cream of celery soup or their lobster bisque.
Lobster bisque is pretty good too, yeah.
So definitely, get a soup and just try it, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. But then they have a couple salads usually also, and then you go to your entrees. There's usually at least 5 entrees. Plus, they usually have 3 to 4 lighter fare entrees
Yeah,
that are cooked with, less fats. They don't have the cream sauce. Maybe the side vegetables are steamed, but you have that every night. So if you want to try to do a little lighter fare option, there's always those 3 or 4 items. They don't switch as much from menu to menu, but they're always there for you. You've got 5 other entrees, and then usually there's a theme entree that goes along with that night's menu theme. And so I would suggest that you're looking at the dinner entrees and you see, ooh, well, I'd like to have the scallops, but then you're like, look, ooh, they're also having prime rib tonight or something. So
then you do what I do and order surf and turf.
Right. So get them both because they're kind of small, almost tasting, portions for the entrees. So you're not going to be overstuffing yourselves necessarily. You're not going to get it and take 3 bites and you're done, you're wasting food. No, they're usually small enough amounts that, go ahead, try them both. And it's no problem. The waitstaff is more than happy to do that for you.
Sometimes they even encourage it.
Yeah. And then you've got dessert, and there's always, 5 or 6 different desserts to choose from. I highly recommend if they have any type of a souffle that evening, get the souffle. They come, small little ramekin. My favorite is the
Grand Marnier.
Yeah, the Grand Marnier souffle. And anytime I see that on the menu, I'm ordering it because I know it comes with a side of the anglaise sauce, kind of the white chocolatey kind of butter sauce. You poke a little hole, you pour it in there, and it's fabulous.
Oh, good. Yeah. And for those that have dietary restrictions, I know I have some things that I'm allergic to, and I've met with the staff. They'll come back out and they'll give me some gluten-free bread. They'll give me making sure that, whatever I'm eating doesn't have celery in it or avocado. And so that's what's really, really great. And also they have a lot of vegetarian options too.
Right, I forgot about that.
So in case you're not a meat eater or you're in a vegetarian meal plan, then you can join up right with that. You'll catch right up and you won't feel left out and you won't feel treated any differently. So that's what I think is really great about that. And the alcohol packages, we kind of talked about a little bit in a previous podcast too, but don't forget, so they do have the wine package that's a premier and a regular wine package. You can figure out your different types, different nights that you want to have the wine, and it'll go rotational restaurant to restaurant with you. You can also use your beer token. So when you have your beer stein, you can just show them that, so you can still get the discount on the beer. So they've got some really great options. And what I think is my favorite part about the rotational dining is the staff. Not so much the head server. They kind of come around and tell you the weather for the next day and whatever, you make sure you do this tonight if, set your clock back. But the staff that we have there we've had at our rotational dining has been terrific. They sometimes, if it's a little bit longer between courses, they'll come and play games with you. They'll do different kind of brain teasers or something. Right. And we've had with kids, not just our kids, but 18-month-old kids, and they kind of wander about, and the staff is really great and accommodating with that. They'll dance with them, they'll engage with them. I mean, they won't pick them up, but they will, and do those kinds of things. We have this thing for Thanksgiving. For the last several years, we have a tablecloth, and every year we have a Sharpie, and everybody signs that tablecloth.
Linen tablecloth.
Yeah,
big linen tablecloth. Yeah,
and we'll take it to anywhere we're going to have Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving dinner, and everybody has to sign it, and then I'll embroidery over it. So we've got everybody's signature locked in.
Well, and you use a different color every year. So you have a little legend. In 2015 we used green, so everybody's name is stitched in with green, so you can see them all over the multiple years. So, and when we were on the ship for a Thanksgiving cruise, we had the waitstaff sign on.
They were wonderful. Yeah. They were absolutely wonderful to do that. And that really made it feel like a part of that. So that's another additional thing that we really like about it. So rotation dining is a little bit different than what standard cruise lines are. The restaurants are each have their own different theme. Animator's Palette is on all the ships but the Wish. You'll have Rapunzel's, which is our favorite, that's on the Magic. They have Tiana's, which is over on the Wonder, which is a jazzy New Orleans style club. And then there's the Enchanted Garden, which is on the Disney and the Fantasy, which is really great because it is an enchanted garden. When it starts, all the bulbs are closed for all the flowers that are around the room. And as the evening or the meal progresses, the lights change. It goes from dawn to dusk. The bulbs and the flowers bloom, and it's just a really nice evening in a way that they do that. And then, like Brian says, the menu goes along with the theme of the restaurant, and it just really brings everything all together.
Well, and then you've got, and it's Disney, so every restaurant you're in, there's some sort of a show that's going along with it. Whether it's an animator's palette and you're drawing your stick figure that eventually make its way up onto the
mine are horrible
screen. Or if you're in, Rapunzel's, they're gonna have the ruffians there, and they're gonna have the band kind of playing lyrical music, and then if you've got time, you can maybe find the 3 pastels within the restaurant. They're about the restaurant, so that's a great game for the kids to try to find the hidden pastels.
And it's a game for us because we forget where they are whenever by the time we get back to there.
Right.
And then they have some restaurants that the theming is just the theming itself, like Triton's or Lumiere's, depending on which ship you're on, or the Royal Banquet and the Royal Table. Those are, it's not the Royal Table, but I can't come up. I don't have it in my notes. But that are on the Disney and the Fantasy. And with the Enchanted Garden, the theming is the way that they do the blooming and they come back. So it's not just going to a Mediterranean restaurant or not just going to a New Orleans restaurant. There's really a whole encompassing, and the service is amazing. And so that's something that is definitely different that Disney Cruise Line does, and that you need to be ready for on your next Disney cruise. We'd love to hear what your favorite rotational dining restaurants are. Maybe there's some that we may have not experienced yet or don't experience as much, and we need to kind of pay a little closer attention to. So leave us a comment. The podcast is on Spotify and Apple Music, and the videos are on YouTube under DCL Dorks. So drop us a line, hit subscribe, and let us know however we can help out. We're also on Instagram at DCL Dorks, and we'll see you very soon.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.